Okay, a short revision. A short revision on a secretion of certain hormones right here. See, if you remember from your previous class that class 11, you studied about the hormones and all these things. Then there you have studied that from the hypothalamus we have an induction into our anterior pituitary, which leads to production of these two hormones in the body. One is the follicle stimulating hormone. The second one is being the luteinizing hormone. So in female, whenever we see these two hormone, it has two different purposes. The FSH is responsible for the proliferation of the follicle, primary follicle into the fully developing follicle, and finally it leads to the release of the oocyte, secondary oocyte from this Graafian follicle. And in case of that happening, like the moment this happens, there will be release of luteinizing hormone or the LH hormone that will be seen coming from the anterior pituitary again. And that one is actually after the ovulation process, means in a way it also is responsible for the trigger of the ovulation process. It actually leads to transfer or the transformation of this ruptured follicle into the corpus luteum, a structure is responsible for it's a structure which actually forms and then maintain itself in the ovary, and is also the one responsible for the release of the hormone progesterone. Okay, means it is this particular corpus luteum is what is responsible for production of the progesterone hormone. And it is like it is shown here that it also is producing a little bit of estrogen. Not that wrong, that it does produce a small amount of estrogen out of from it, but mainly the estrogen is released by the this like follicles. This Graafian follicle that we see is the Graafian follicle is responsible for production of the estrogen. Okay, now what are the purpose of this estrogen? Estrogen, it actually maintains or develops the female reproductive cycle or reproductive features and all. It keeps the uterus and everything healthy and well. The ability like the for the ovary to produce this ovum and all, that also is actually maintained quite a lot in the body of the female. There is directed deposition of the fat in the body of the female will be seen as it has been noticed that in female the fat deposition mostly takes place in their chest region, their buttocks region, and their thigh region, or even in the back. Also, like this area where we see that the deposition of the fat takes place, unlike the case of the male. Like in the case of male, we see that the fat deposition mainly takes place in their mid abdominal region, means I'm mostly in the belly region, and then the thigh and buttocks and all this area. So this characteristic deposition of the fat is what somewhat creates a different kind of form in that of the female. Then the formation of axillary pubic hair and all these things, then mammary gland development and all of those features is actually something that is controlled by the estrogen. Oh, I failed to mention one more important thing is actually maintaining the bone development is also somehow controlled by the estrogen. That's why it has been always seen that the female which enters menopause, like post menopause, actually they actually start losing their bone density and all. That's why some calcium deposition, calcium supplement they need to take whenever they grow old. The female, they need to take this calcium as an additional calcium source, because that time bone deposition, bone formation is actually, or bone health, it actually starts reducing a lot. In case of progesterone, it is actually the one which is maintaining the, like, which helps in maintaining and formation of the endometrium. Also, like after the implantation of the embryo in the endometrium, it actually maintains that state and triggers lactation from the mammary gland. So these two processes are there which the progesterone do. Now why we are learning about this thing, it actually is because of like in the female, there is a monthly cycle of this release of these different hormones, which leads to different type of changes in their body, overall changes in their body. And it's a total roller coaster of hormone secretion, we can say, in that happens in the female. uh, this process, it goes by the name of the menstrual cycle. A menstrual cycle is very important in the scope of the syllabus, and is very important. And what actually happened in menstrual cycle, let's learn about it. So actually the entire menstrual cycle can be it has been seen that it happens in a stretch of 28 days. You can see right here it is mentioned. Let me zoom thing for you. There you go. So it is like 28 days is required for the entire process to get over with. And during that entire period of time, you're going to find there are many things happening there. So it has been all segregated into the ovarian cycle, the change in the body temperature, change or different release of the anterior pituitary hormones, the entire secretion of the ovarian hormones during that period of time, and the uterine cycle that actually takes place in that particular course of time. So it's not that they are all different, but it's actually one is interconnected with the other. So that's why we are going to learn the entire thing, how it happens, what happens, everything. Okay. Right. Now let me tell you one thing, and before moving ahead, here you can see the name is written as estradiol. Estradiol is actually a type of estrogen, one of the class or form of the estrogen hormone itself. Okay. Right. Now let's learn about it. So what actually happens this entire period of time? Okay. So let's stick to the upper part. Let's leave the uterine cycle at the moment. Let's focus onto the upper part. Okay. So what actually happened is, first and foremost, the ovarian hormone secretion, the anterior pituitary hormone secretion. Actually, the entire process is governed, is controlled by the anterior pituitary. Okay, in a way it is completely governed by them, because it is the one releasing that hormones which actually trigger the development of the other things. So what actually happened during that time? So anterior pituitary will be producing, see, this blue line is follicle stimulating hormone and the dark blue line is luteinizing hormone. Okay, so you're going to see that there is actually a substantial secretion of the follicle stimulating hormone right there. You are seeing it's day 0. All right, from day 0 it started right there, and then you see that there is actually a constant secretion of this FSH hormone, and it is increasing in quantity also eventually as the time passes. Like after 7 days or so, we are seeing that there is a comparatively larger amount of secretion of that particular hormone taking place, right? So during that period of time, you're going to find that the ovary, within the ovary, the follicle has started developing. If you remember the previous video where I've shown you the different development of the follicles, there you've seen that the follicle, it starts growing, isn't it? From primary to secondary to finally formation of matured Graafian follicle there. So this growing follicle, as you can see, even it is shown here clearly, this antrum production. Antrum is actually, if you remember, it is the hormone itself that is being released, that is being formed and is actually stored right there within the within the follicle. Okay, so since the hormone is being produced by the cells right there or by the follicle itself, you are going to see there is actually increase in the estradiol secretion. Again, estradiol represented with the light blue line, and the progesterone being replaced. Sorry, the progesterone is being shown in the dark blue line. Okay, so this place you can see that it's actually increasing, isn't it? It's slowly increasing as the development of the ovary takes place. So the ovarian hormone also, means the estrogen hormone also, it's increasing, and you can see there is a substantial rise, and then there is a huge secretion, and then sudden drop of this entire thing. Now when does it happen? It happens when the ovulation takes place, because the time the ovulation takes place, this entire follicle will rupture, releasing whatever quantity of the like estrogen that was stored inside in the antrum. It's all being released at the same time. So you're going to find that it's releasing that entire load of the hormone, and thus there is a huge secretion, and then finally a drop, a substantial drop. Okay, so this substantial drop is what is because of that release of the hormone from there. Okay, gone. When does this ovulation take place? In the day 14, isn't it? 14th day of the entire menstrual cycle, you are finding that ovulation is taking place, and this is triggered by the release of luteinizing hormone from the anterior pituitary. Okay, so anterior pituitary, you can see right here there is a release of that LH hormone is taking place, a substantial high release of LH hormone is taking place. Also at the same time, the FSH hormone is also being released higher than the normal value, isn't it? So when those two hormones come in this strong amount, then the ovulation takes place. And actually during this ovulation, due to release of that large amount of that estrogen hormone, it increases the body temperature of the female by a degree or two. Okay, means Fahrenheit, of course. So it actually increases the body temperature of the female by a degree or two Fahrenheit, and it actually maintains that particular increased degree for a certain period of time. It's again because of the estrogen hormone itself. Okay, because you will see that the estrogen hormone is again going to be released by the ovary. Okay, and this release is because of the corpus luteum that you are seeing here. The corpus luteum, it's actually, it looks like a yellow mass, means whenever we observe it under microscope, it does appear as a yellow, large yellow mass. So this particular corpus luteum is the one responsible for the release of the progesterone. That's why you're finding that there's a high amount of release of progesterone taking place right there. But estrogen is also being formed, and estrogen is also being released by the corpus luteum. Okay, and that corpus luteum, that release of the estrogen, it actually, as I mentioned, it maintains the health of the um, reproductive organs of the female, so which is definitely necessary at the time of pregnancy and all. So it will be maintained, because the main purpose of corpus luteum is that progesterone uh, will be released and will help in the entire process of maintaining the pregnancy or the gestation period of the female. And it is the luteinizing hormone for the will be held responsible for the transformation of the ruptured follicle, this ruptured follicle after the ovulation, into this corpus luteum stage. Okay, so what happens due to that progesterone? Well, now you need to learn about that uterine cycle. So from day 0, actually I'll come to day 0 afterwards. You see from day 7 right there, you see there is actually an increase in mass in the entire uterine wall, isn't it? There is a continuous increase in the mass and size of the entire uterine wall. It actually happens is like during that particular period of time, the endometrium, actually it keeps on increasing in size. Okay, it needs to increase in size because at the time of pregnancy, or the time the fetus has developed, it has like fetus, actually, sorry, not fetus, but the embryo has developed, the zygote developed into embryo. The embryo will come and implant itself onto the structure of the, on the surface of this particular endometrium, and once it actually binds there, it will form the placenta with that endometrium, via which that embryo will be nurtured, the embryo will transform into the fetus will be nurtured, and the fetus will be allowed to grow there inside the womb, isn't it? And for that entire period of time, the endometrium is the one responsible for maintaining the health and well-being of that fetus. Okay, so if that is necessary, because it is definitely necessary, so if that is necessary, that means the endometrium should be kept healthy during that period of time. And for that, even there should be a high supply of blood vessels onto the inside the endometrium also. And we are going to see exactly that in the endometrium, and the one responsible for doing that, means maintaining that high density of the endometrium, high like increased size, mass of the endometrium, increased blood supply into the endometrium, everything is due to the progesterone hormone. Okay, and that progesterone hormone is going to be released by the corpus luteum. Now what actually happens, the funny thing that happens, see, the ovulation is taking place in day 14, isn't it? In day 14 the ovulation is taking place, and the ovum will be there for actually around 48 to 72 hours in the fallopian tube. It actually remains viable for that period of time, 48, maximum 48 to 72 hours. Okay, now if within that time it gets fertilized, then slowly the development of the embryo will take place. Okay, and slowly it will actually come and bind with or get implanted with the endometrium. Okay, now that entire thing, that implantation from fertilization, it takes around 7 days. Okay, 7 days time. So you can see clearly that the endometrium is growing definitely, but it has grown quite well from day 14, and will maintain itself till day 21, which is around here, till day 21, and will keep on growing even bigger, will try maintain that big shape up to day 28, because any time between that period is actually the time that the implantation will take place. 7 to 10 days, even if it is said that if it is a delayed, then 7 to 10 days time it will take. So even within that time it will actually go and bind right there during any moment during that period of time. So the corpus luteum will try and maintain itself for that particular period of time. See, corpus luteum is staying within the period of time somewhat around like day 17 to day 26 or something like that. It tries and maintain itself to that particular days, all those particular time. Okay, but definitely if the fertilization has taken place, and if this like implantation takes place, then a funny thing will happen. The funny thing is, actually from there, means from the uterine itself, there will be a release of certain hormone, the human chorionic gonadotrophin and all. This particular hormone set is going to be released, and it is the one responsible for sending the signal to the hypothalamus that the implantation has taken place. All right, so once it actually get that signal, anterior pituitary will release a little bit of this LH hormone right there, a little high amount of LH hormone, and as the follicle stimulating hormone is being released, it will release that. Okay, the high amount of LH will be actually slightly higher than previously. Okay, it's not that it's actually in way too much high, but it's slightly higher than the previous amount. But that constant secretion will take place. All right. So when that constant secretion will take place, and that small, even there will rise also slightly in between. So when there will be that particular LH secretion taking place, it means corpus luteum has to maintain its form for that period of time that the LH is being produced. And why LH is produced? Because HCG hormone has gone and triggered it to the hypothalamus, isn't it? And why is that? Because implantation is taking place. So that means pregnancy has to be maintained, isn't it? And this is how even the pregnancy is maintained, because corpus luteum will maintain its form. Corpus luteum will keep on producing progesterone, which will keep the endometrium healthy and well, and finally the fetus will keep on growing bigger and bigger and bigger within the ovum. Okay, so that is how the entire period of pregnancy is actually going to be maintained. But if not, then on day 28, which is the end of the entire cycle, the corpus luteum will slowly regress and will transform into a mass called the corpus albicans. All right, you will be seeing that the body temperature will come down definitely, because the progesterone and estrogen secretion will be released, will be lowered, sorry. So the body temperature will come down definitely, and the endometrium will immediately rupture itself. Okay, immediately rupture itself, and will actually that large endometrium mass that it has formed, the wall it has formed, it will all degenerate, it all will break open, and will release this since blood vessels and everything is all already there, so it will form a kind of a mass of exudates, which are going to be like coming out, which is like dead tissues along with the bloods and everything, called the menses, which will be released from that particular endometrium during that period of time. So this menses production is going to take place for 3 to 4 days, starting from day 28, or which will be also considered as the end of the menstrual cycle, and then the next day it is the beginning, day 0 of the menstrual cycle also. So from that time, day 1 it will be the next day. So 28 days or the end of one cycle, it will actually it will start releasing out, and that's why we are going to see that whenever that menses production is taking place, it means a new menstrual cycle has triggered, because 28 day is also considered as the onset of the next menstrual cycle. Okay, means entire thing will be repeated again. So irregular cases, it is not 28 days, it can be longer or shorter, even usually longer. And in those cases, whenever the menses taking place, menses production taking place, it means that the cycle is actually going on within their body. Okay, cycle is actually going on within their body, though the way the cycle is actually properly monitored by the doctor is by the release of the hormones. The quantity of the hormone released is what actually maintain that particular like understanding, isn't it? And one has to remember this thing that this is also this lack of any menses production is also a sign of uh, like proper implantation, which is also means that somehow they have conceived the child. Okay, means the process of pregnancy, the trigger of the pregnancy can be noticed by loss of menses within the female. Okay.